never been the same since I saw this movie.
Simply one of our best directors ever.
It's amazing. It's beautiful to look at. It's entertaining.
This is a terrific movie. It's one of my all-time favorites.
I think it's a perfect essential. Anna and the King of Siam feels current and relevant today.
Irene Dunne was one of the most versatile and beautiful actresses that we ever had in Hollywood.
I love the journey of what Anna and the King bring to each other's lives.
This is the movie that really introduced Rex Harrison to moviegoers around the world.
You not afraid to tell King something is not his business?
It would not be a compliment to His Majesty if I were afraid of him.
Not to be afraid is good thing in scientific mind. I think maybe you will make very good school teaching.
This is a particular favorite of mine, Anna and the King of Siam. You know, I think when you're a big movie fan like I am, love movies, there's maybe one studio more than any other that you respond to. And certainly the movies of I'd say the 40s particularly, into the 50s. I love the films of 20th Century Fox. Something about the music and the way they photographed movies and lit them. Just love the look of the movie, besides everything else that goes with it. And this was certainly a great Fox film from the 40s. This is 1946. Irene Dunne, Rex Harrison, Linda Darnell.
Yeah.
Wonderful sets, all built on the 20th Century Fox lot or on California acreage somewhere. They didn't go on location in those days. And Arthur Miller, not that Arthur Miller, but the other Arthur Miller,
the cinematographer,
won the Academy Award for this, well-deserved. It also won an Academy Award for its art direction, but it's just a beautifully made movie.
Yeah, I have to admit I hadn't seen this version before this year. And I did appreciate the sets and the cinematography, but what really took me about this movie was also its relevance today, in that you have this king who has these long lines of traditions from the men in his family, from the generations, and how a woman can come in and really open up his mind and begin to change what might be also the future of this country.
How shall you know what I want for my country?
I know you want it to progress, to take its place among the other nations of the world. You made this law yourself, but if you put your own will above the laws you make, you fail.
By the end of this film, I felt like it didn't matter whether I was in an interior of a set. I felt like my whole world had sort of really expanded. And I just loved the movie so much.
Because it was actually his world that you were in.
Yes.
And his world wasn't much bigger than the palace walls.
No, and things that you disagree with in the beginning of the movie, like him having 67 children and that all women must bow to him when he walks in a room and
not have their head higher than his.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And how that starts to shift when him and Irene Dunne, you know, are fighting themselves at the same level, and it takes on not so much of a chauvinistic, you know, time capsule, but more of these two people who are, you know, their flowers are opening up to each other intellectually and spiritually.
We have to say that it is the same story that's told in The King and I. And I think it's wonderful to see the two together, or, you know, be aware of one to the other, because I think that they're so outstanding in their own way. I think The King and I is one of the great movie musicals ever. But because of those additions of the music and everything, you have to leave out a lot of story. And this has, you know, such complete story, backstory of some of the wives. And there's a thing about her son that travels with her that's a whole story unto itself that is about her evolution and change that is not in the others. So it's just allowed to tell more story than in The King and I.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, let's have a look.
Okay.
Here, a wonderful movie based on a biography by Margaret Lanton from 20th Century Fox in 1946, Anna and the King of Siam.